Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I'm coming to you from the Radford Public Library with a few new titles on the adult fiction shelves that perhaps you'd be interested in reading. We're just going to give it a shot and see if anything here catches your eye. These are all books that have been well praised and received by reviews, so I'm recommending three that I have read and three that have done very well in their reviews. So the first one I'll start with is titled A Gorgeous Excitement. It's written by Cynthia Weiner. She teaches fiction writing and is a fiction writer herself, but this is her first novel, which is really exciting that she's doing so well with this. This book is set in Upper Manhattan, 1986, during the time of the Preppy murder. It does cover true events, but these fictionalized characters are written around these events. And the author, when she was in her teens, she grew up in the same area and was in the realm of that Preppy murder case in some way. And so some things are based on her perspective at that time. And I've listened to several interviews with her. And after reading this book, because I didn't want any spoilers, it was a great thing to do to hear her input during this interview on some of the things that she wrote and why, and what inspired some of the character development. Anyway, the main character is Nina Jacobs. She's 18. She's shortly going to be heading off to college. She has this last summer to make the most of her high school years. And she has a new friend who is interested in all kinds of different things. So she's having a lot of first experiences, perhaps as a result of this new friendship, taking more risks, maybe getting involved in some illegal substances, just really experiencing her older teens before going off to college and being alone. There are a lot of other things that happen around this, with relationships, with her family, with her mother who's mentally struggling, unwell, I would say, in and out of institutions. So there's a lot going on. And A Gorgeous Excitement is explained how this title came to be. This is just a fantastic, beautifully done book. I loved the language of it and read it fairly quickly. And it says a lot about, well, it says a lot about everything. Definitely about the 80s and that time period. So if you like reading about that time period, if you like the 80s, this will be for you because there's so many references to that time, the music, the books, the vibe of the 80s. So that is A Gorgeous Excitement by Cynthia Weiner. The next one that I read and recommend is titled We Do Not Part, and that is written by Hong Kong. And she has, goodness, gotten so much kudos and accolades. She's the winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature. She also previously won the International Booker Prize. She's written several other titles, but this is the first one I have read by her. And it was so lyrical and lovely. I saw an interview with her in which she explained that it kind of came to be because of a dream that she had that was very disturbing, that inspired this story. The main character is Kyung Ha, and it's set in Seoul. She has a dear friend that she hasn't seen in a while, but they end up reconnecting because that friend is unexpectedly in the hospital and calls on her for her help. She has this caged bird at home, and because she's hospitalized, she hasn't been able to feed or water this bird, so she wants her to go check on this bird. So the premise is kind of bizarre, but she ends up making this huge trek to this island, really remote place where her friend lives, to check on this bird. And in the entire time of this story, it is snowing, 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 and things happen that it's really hard as the reader to know, is this true? Is this a dream? It all seems very, just very lyrical, and gosh, you just have to give it a whirl. I've never read anything like it and need to read her other books. She certainly has a way with the words, but if you like concrete stories and you want to know clearly what is happening, this one might be challenging. It was for me, but I'd like to read more of them. Definitely a beautiful story. So that is We Do Not Part. And last but not least, this is kind of the comic relief that I needed after reading the other two. So this one is much lighter, but does deal with heavier topics like death. So the main character is Bud Stanley, and he is an obituary writer, and he's been having just a string of bad luck and losses and frustrations, and so on a whim he kind of writes his own obituary, but sort of accidentally he publishes that obituary to his work site, which is problematic because he's not actually dead. But this, written by John Kenney, who is a New York Times bestselling author and did at one point in his journalism career write obituaries, this really does, amidst a lot of humor and lightheartedness, ask a lot of hard questions, like what are we here to do? What matters in life? And part of it, he meets someone who, for experience sake, goes to the wakes and funerals of people that she doesn't know. And the characters in this are so fantastic. They're rich, they're lovable, they're believable. He has really good friends around him. That doesn't mean he doesn't struggle. Anyway, I recommend this one as well. And so this is I See You've Called in Dead, and that is written by John Kenney. So those are three very, very different toned books. And maybe none of them sound good to you, in which case I'm sorry. I just need to know what you want to hear about. But we have thousands of books here at the Radford Public Library, and we also have so many new ones. We're buying them constantly. So if there's something you're looking for, let us know. I have more reviews to come. Of course, Taylor Jenkins Reid has her new book, Atmosphere, out. I'd like to review that for you, and we do have copies of that. So if there's something else you're looking for, or a certain type of genre that you're interested in, we can find that for you. Let us know. Thank you for listening to What's New at the Radford Public Library. Take care, and we hope to see you soon.